Imagine, if you will, a place, dramatic mountains just reaching for the sky, and these serene valleys unfolding below, rivers carving through ancient land. It's a region of just breathtaking natural beauty, really, and a rich cultural heritage. Yet it's also profoundly shaped by, well, a complex history. Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into Jammu and Kashmir. For this deep dive, our mission is really to unpack your sources. It's a pretty comprehensive overview we have here to help you truly understand the fascinating and often intricate story of Jammu and Kashmir. We're here to distill the most important nuggets of knowledge, the key insights, essentially offering you a shortcut to being genuinely well informed about this unique and, frankly, pivotal part of the world. So to really understand Jammu and Kashmir, I think we have to start by grounding ourselves in its geography. It's breathtaking but complex, right? It's the canvas that shapes everything else. So how would you describe its strategic position and its physical landscape based on the sources?
Well, it holds a truly strategic spot. It's perched right up there as the northernmost region of India. It shares borders, obviously, with Indian states like Himachal Pradesh and Punjab. But critically, it also has international borders with both Pakistan and China.
Right, that's key.
Yeah, and this location really dictates its terrain. It's predominantly mountainous. You have significant parts of the majestic Himalayas running right through it.
And these landscapes, they aren't just defined by the towering peaks, are they? What about the major rivers? The sources mention several. How do they specifically influence life and maybe the economy in those distinct valleys?
Oh, absolutely. The rivers, particularly the Jhelum, the Chenab, and the mighty Indus, they're far more than just scenic features. They are the agricultural lifeblood for the valleys, irrigating huge areas of land. And historically, their course has also shaped ancient trade routes, connecting J&K to Central Asia, influencing where people settled. So their presence is just vital to every aspect of the land and its people.
Okay, now, if we sort of fast forward to a really pivotal moment, the administrative reorganization back in 2019, this is where the region saw some truly profound shifts. What were the core changes that your sources highlighted about that period? How did they, redefine J&K's status?
Right. This was a monumental shift. It took effect on October 31st, 2019. The core changes basically were twofold. First, Jammu and Kashmir transitioned into a union territory.
Okay, so directly under the central government.
Exactly. It's a federal administrative division governed directly by the center, but importantly, it was given a legislative assembly.
Oh, okay.
And alongside that, Ladakh, which was previously part of the state of J&K, became its own separate union territory.
And Ladakh is administered differently then?
Yes, notably, Ladakh became a UT without a legislature of its own.
Interesting distinction. And this whole reorganization, it must have had a direct impact on the major cities too, right? How did that play out for places like Srinagar, Jammu, and what about those areas now in Ladakh, like Leh and Kargil?
Exactly right. Srinagar, well, it remains the summer capital. Still famous for Dal Lake, those iconic houseboats, beautiful Mughal gardens, you know the picture. And Jammu continues as the winter capital, known for its many temples like Vaishno Devi and historic forts. But it's crucial to clarify, as you said, Liz and Kargil, previously very significant cities within the former state, are now part of that separate union territory of Ladakh.
Right, so administratively distinct now.
Correct.
And these unique landscapes, reshaped by these recent administrative changes, they've also shaped the incredible diversity of the, millions who call this region home. So moving from geography and administration to the people, what does your source material tell us about the population and this vibrant mosaic of ethnic groups and languages?
Yeah, it's quite something. The region has an estimated population of roughly 12.3 million. As of 2021 data. And it truly is a tapestry of cultures. It's home to a really diverse array of ethnic groups. You've got Kashmiris, Dogras, Gujars, Pakarwals, Ladakhis, among others.
Wow.
And this diversity is also vividly reflected in the languages you hear spoken there.
So I gather Urdu is the official language, but what other significant languages will you actually hear across the valleys and mountains of J&K?
That's right. Urdu is official. But you'll definitely hear Kashmiri, Dogri, Hindi, Ladakhi, Balti, and of course English is widely spoken too, especially in administration and tourism. But what's fascinating here, I think, is how the distinct religious demographics have really shaped the cultural fabric of each sub-region.
How so?
Well, the Kashmir Valley is predominantly Muslim, and it boasts these unique Sufi traditions, very influential there. Then you move to the Jammu region, that's predominantly Hindu, often a major hub for pilgrimages.
Like Vaishno Devi, you mentioned.
Exactly. And then in Ladakh, you see a Buddhist majority, particularly strong in Leh, with a heavy influence from Tibetan Buddhism. that's quite distinct from the Shia Muslim communities you find primarily in the Kargil area of Ladakh.
So it's not just numbers.
Not at all. This mosaic isn't just about percentages. It reflects unique ways of life, distinct cultural expressions, traditions, festivals, the whole lot.
Okay, so given this strategic location and this deeply layered tapestry of cultures and religions we've just explored, it's perhaps, well, inevitable that Jammu and Kashmir has a truly complex political history. Now, this is obviously a sensitive topic, and just to reiterate for you listening, we're committed to impartially reporting the facts as presented in the sources we reviewed without endorsing any particular viewpoint ourselves. So, with that in mind, let's talk about the revocation of Article 370 and Article 35A. How did your sources describe the significance of that move?
Right, and the sources are quite clear on this. The revocation of Article 370 and Article 35A on August 5, 2019 was, as you said, monumental. Article 370 essentially had granted special autonomous status to Jammu and Kashmir. It gave it a unique constitutional position within India.
Allowing its own constitution, defining residence.
Precisely. It allowed J&K to have its own constitution, and Article 35A empowered the state legislature to define permanent residents and grant them special rights and privileges. The sources highlight that this move fundamentally altered J&K's relationship with the central government. It really sparked extensive debate, as you can imagine, about federalism, regional autonomy, integration.
Yeah, absolutely. And this political history is, unfortunately, directly tied to the security situation, isn't it? The region has, as your sources point out, been a point of conflict between India and Pakistan since 1947. What else do your sources convey about the security landscape there?
Indeed. The sources state that militancy and terrorism have affected parts of the region, particularly the Kashmir Valley, and this has led to a heavy deployment of Indian armed forces to maintain law and order.
A very visible presence, I imagine.
Yes, a very visible presence. It's described as a constant factor in daily life for many residents there. And, well, this raises an important question, really, about the ongoing challenges and the efforts related to achieving, lasting peace and stability in the region. Did your sources happen to offer any specific examples or sort of narratives about the impact of this long-standing conflict on daily life beyond just the troop deployment figures?
They certainly highlight the impact on general life, things like disruptions, security checks. The psychological toll, those specific personal narratives vary quite a bit depending on the source. But let's shift gears a little now, because beyond the headlines and the complex history, Jammu and Kashmir truly shines with its incredible tourism potential and a really rich, vibrant cultural heritage. It is, as we said, a place of just stunning natural beauty.
Oh, absolutely. The natural attractions alone are just breathtaking. You've got Gulmarg, which is world-renowned for skiing in the winter. Then there's Pahalgam and Sonmarg, ideal spots for trekking, surrounded by mountains and beautiful rivers.
Classic mountain scenery.
Totally. And of course, the iconic Dal Lake in Srinagar, with its serene houseboats offering that unique floating experience. These are places that really capture the imagination.
And the region is also home to incredibly significant religious sites, drawing visitors from all over, reflecting that diverse spiritual landscape we touched on. Which ones are highlighted in your sources?
Yeah, the sources detail several key sites. There's the Amarnath Cave Temple, which is a major Hindu pilgrimage site. Very arduous trek, actually. The Vaishno Devi Shrine, as I mentioned, another extremely popular Hindu pilgrimage destination near Jammu.
Right.
And for the Muslim community, you have the revered Hazrat Bal Mosque in Srinagar, holding a sacred relic, and the historic Jamia Masjid, also in Srinagar, a major center for Friday prayers. These aren't just places of worship, they're deeply embedded cultural landmarks, too.
And beyond the landscapes and the holy sites, J&K is globally recognized for its unique cultural heritage, particularly its crafts, right? What are some of those world-renowned traditions?
Yes, delving into that unique cultural heritage, you find these world-renowned handicrafts. Think of those exquisite pashmina shawls, known for their softness and warmth.
Legendary.
Truly. And incredibly intricate Kashmiri carpets, often hand-knotted with complex designs. Also, delicate papier-mâché work, beautifully painted boxes and ornaments. Each of these is a testament to generations of artisanal skill.
Amazing craftsmanship.
Absolutely. And the region also boasts a rich tradition of music and poetry with its own unique forms, and the distinctive roof dance form that's a truly vibrant part of its identity, often performed by women during festivals like Eid.
Okay, so looking ahead now, let's discuss the state of education in the region. What do your sources tell us about its progress, but also maybe any lingering challenges?
Well, the sources seem to indicate a positive trend, generally speaking, with a growing number of educational institutions being established across the region. That's certainly a hopeful sign. But it's also explicitly acknowledged that certain areas are still significantly impacted by the legacy of conflict. This affects things like access to quality schooling, consistent attendance, maybe even infrastructure in some more remote or affected areas. So progress, yes, but challenges remain.
Understood. And what about the economic outlook? What are the fundamental drivers of J&K's economy, and what recent shifts have your sources noted, particularly maybe post-2019?
Okay, so economically, J&K fundamentally thrives on a few key sectors. Agriculture and horticulture are huge. The sources specifically mention delicious apples and precious saffron as major exports.
Saffron, right, very valuable.
Extremely. Handicrafts, as we just discussed, are another significant pillar. And tourism, of course, though it can be sensitive to the security situation. Now, regarding recent shifts, our sources specifically note the efforts being made to boost investment in the region, particularly after the revocation of Article 370. The aim seems to be attracting more capital and industries from outside.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, these economic efforts sound like part of a broader strategy, don't they? What's the sort of overarching goal described?
Exactly, you can see it that way. These economic initiatives appear to be part of a broader, concerted strategy. It seems aimed at overall development and revival for the region, trying to move it forward into a new phase, perhaps, of stability and prosperity by attracting that outside investment while also trying to strengthen its traditional economic sectors.
Okay, so what does all this mean for you listening in? We've journeyed through the just stunning beauty and deep cultural significance of Jammu and Kashmir, but we've also acknowledged its complex political legacy and the really profound changes it has experienced recently.
Yeah, just to reiterate the key takeaways for you, we've seen these significant administrative and constitutional changes that have aimed, according to the rationale provided, to integrate J&K more closely with the rest of India. And crucially, there are these ongoing efforts focused on achieving peace, fostering economic development, and reviving its once thriving tourism sector.
So hopefully this deep dive has provided you with a more nuanced, more well-informed perspective on a region that, let's face it, is often discussed but perhaps less deeply understood. It allows you, hopefully, to appreciate its complexities beyond just the headlines you might see.
Exactly. And as you reflect on all this, maybe consider this provocative thought we can leave you with. Given these recent, quite dramatic administrative changes and these ongoing development efforts, what might be the long-term impact on the distinct cultural identities we talked about and the traditional economic practices of the various communities within Jammu and Kashmir? How do you see these dynamics playing out in its future? Something to think about.